As you can see, I'm surrounded by green. Well, I'm not surrounded by green, but we are sponsored by the good people at Wash and Go today. The lovely people at Wash and Go. What I'm on about, good people. And people often say to me, Mark, is it not hard being a Wash and Go ambassador? And I always have to reply to them like this. Being a rocket engineer is hard. Just ask Elon Musk. Being Manchester United manager is hard. Just ask the 4 managers that have taken over since Sir Alex Ferguson. Being an NHS worker, that's hard. Heroes. That is really hard. But being a shampoo ambassador is as easy as taking a bath. It really is. So next time you're having a really hard day, just run a bath, light some candles, put on some relaxing music and lather up with Wash and Go. Classic Wash and Go. You can pick up your bottle at any good retailer or by hitting the link in the description and getting it delivered straight to your door. Thanks very much to Wash and Go for supporting the United Stand. Now let's move on with the show. And remember, Wash and Go, it's invisible. It's invisible a bit later on as well. And obviously building towards a big game, hopefully on Monday between Manchester United and Newcastle. But let's start off with the Pogba power play. Pogba versus Rangnick. We'll also be talking about Cavani going to Brazil. Interesting comments from Ralph Rangnick on Hannibal Mabry and the youth at United, which is really encouraging. And Rangnick getting himself into a little bit of trouble about the Carabao Cup, which we'll talk about as well in a moment. But Merry Christmas, everyone. Lots of people in the chat saying Merry Christmas. Oh, can I just say as well, look, you know, we've got a fantastic community. I always say this. Make sure you smash a like on the video and spread the love. But sadly, I do have some seriously sad news this morning. My grandmother passed away in the early hours of the morning this morning. So Christmas isn't always a good time for everybody, and I'm very aware of that. People will be ill and getting bad news. And I think I'd mentioned before earlier in the year that my granddad passed away, and this often happens. It's very sad. I mean, I spoke to her a couple of times and she was in her 90s, and it was almost like she wanted to, you know, go to be with him. So in some ways it's never good news for the people who are left behind, but it did make me think this morning that obviously it's not always a good time for everybody as well. So, you know, you're not on your own. Don't worry about it. And I get it. Some people don't feel the Christmas buzz for various different reasons from the past or the present. But, you know, love and support and community to all of you. So anyway, but also it's a good time for a lot of people, and that shouldn't make you feel that you shouldn't be celebrating it. If you can, bring a bit of joy, because you never know when the bad times are going to come. So enjoy it. But let's talk about football. That's what we're here to talk about. And I just want to bring you, this is from the United Stand Twitter account, at United Stand MUFC. This is from Fabrizio Romano. Manchester United are not, just a little bit of spit there, a little bit of Christmas spit. Manchester United are not negotiating with any club to sell Paul Pogba in January. No decision by Pogba yet, and United are still waiting. Contract extension bid still on the table since last July. Now, people might be saying, why is Fabrizio Romano stating the obvious this morning? Because that is the situation, and I think it's a really interesting clarification of where we are with Pogba. Pogba has the power. It's power play time. Now, some people are very relaxed about this and go, well, I don't really think that's much of a story, really. Let's just get on with it. Let's use Pogba till the end of the season, and then he can go or he can stay. But you've got to look at the politics of this, and I think that there is a bit of a Pogba versus Rangnick scenario here. We saw it with Ollie and Pogba a year ago when Raiola came out and said he won't be signing a new contract, United a load of shit, he's going to go. And everyone was like, kick him out of the club, get rid of him out of the club. And what did Ollie do? He sat down like Ollie clearly sat down with everybody and said, how can I please you? Because Lingard should have gone in the summer. You can have game time. Donny offered game time. Matic offered game time. Mata offered game time. Dean Henderson offered game time. And yet it didn't happen. So you can imagine the sort of conversation that happened with Pogba a year ago. And it worked. You know, Pogba did do reasonably well from Christmas till the end of the season. Rangnick may have to do that again. Because I don't know what he will do. But he's got this problem with a few other players. But at the top of the Christmas tree, to use a seasonal analogy, is Paul Pogba. He's on top of the Manchester United Christmas tree at the moment, and he has the power. And Rangnick has to have that conversation with him. And also, Manchester United are a very political animal. They will be saying to Ralph, there is a contract. I know for a fact there are politics at Manchester United. We spoke about it last night with Harry Maguire. Why does Harry Maguire get treated differently to Lindelof and Bailly in the sense that he always gets picked, even though his form isn't necessarily as good? Now, I like Maguire, but I don't think he's head and shoulders above Bailly and Lindelof, but he will always play. Politics will always be at play at Manchester United. You know, you could say it from the likes of Ronaldo. There's probably 5 or 6. I think Rashford's another one, maybe Bruno's another one. They will always, you know, be big players at Manchester United politically. And I mean football politics in the sense that they're almost always going to play and have power, and Pogba's certainly got that. Morning, Mark. Had a few friends pass last week. Try keep your head up, mate. Try keep going, to Andy and Brit. I'm fine, mate. You know, at the end of the day, I just wanted to bring it up because I'm always honest, and also I think some people do find this time of the year difficult, and it wasn't a shock this morning. I mean, I'd been messaging, over the last few days with my dad about it, and it's those people left behind I feel sorry for. I mean, she was in her 90s, and I think it's what she wanted. So it's just sad. It is sad, but it's not one of the. There'll be people in a lot worse situation. Sorry if you lost. Get someone to cover your shift on here and go spend time with family. King, you've more than earned time off, says Jack Purcell. Don't worry, we've got all that covered. Christmas is a time for enjoying yourself, family and friends, and we have got plenty of content for you over the next couple of days. But the vast majority of it isn't live anyway, so don't worry about that. What I was talking about in relation to Paul Pogba though is that how does Rangnick solve this issue? Does he just do what I think he will do, which is he will use Pogba and try and get him to sign a new contract, and then once it gets to the summer, Rangnick might not be here anyway, and Pogba might not be here, so you just get the best out of a player for 4 or 5 months? Or the flip side is, does he be like, well look, I'm here to make a difference, you're not here to be part of my plans, to be honest with you, get down the pecking order, I will give you game time, but I'm not starting you every single game. And then you've got Paul Pogba's situation, which is, I'm not signing a contract, I'm not going anywhere else in January, and I want to play football. And in that sense, I think it's quite interesting as to how it will play out, because Pogba does clearly have the power that Manchester United don't. And I do feel for Rangnick in a way, because, well, I do feel for Rangnick. He may not really care about the situation. He might be quite happy and comfortable with what he's going to do with the situation. Pogba is back training. They've probably had a conversation. But it's an inherited problem, and I always feel for managers when they come in and they inherit problems. And now coming into a team like Manchester United and saying, look, I don't want this player, I want a couple of new players, that's normal. Coming into a club that's a very political animal, where it's like, we're trying to sign this player, and you're sort of like, why? Because he's very marketable, he's very, and the offer's on the table, and we want him to sign it. And we've got this player that's running his contract down, this player's running his contract down, this player's running his contract down, and you can't buy